Welcome back to the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. Every man deserves to know his T levels. Step into Game Day Men's Health Solon and get tested on us. There's no guesswork. There's no waiting. Just real answers. And answers are what we're looking for today from Browns OTAs. Mike, take it away.
That's why we have Zac Jackson in today. Zac was at OTAs yesterday for the first open version of OTAs. They have another practice later today that is closed to the media next week. Wednesday's open again. The following week, Wednesday's open again, so Zac will be on with us on Thursdays to give us a first-hand look at what you saw. Zac, we'll talk quarterbacks in the next hour. Okay. So we're going to eliminate Deshaun Watson, Shedeur Sanders, Taylor Green, and Dillon Gabriel from this specific conversation. He said it, not me. But we're not going to talk quarterbacks in this particular segment. We're going to talk about everyone else at OTAs. Yeah. You were there yesterday, Zac. It was an indoor practice. I know it makes it a little more difficult for you to see all the position groups, but from your eyes to our viewers' ears, what did you see or who impressed you the most at Browns OTAs open session number 1?
Let me kiss up for a second. And that's a great lead-in because you're not really getting answers on OTA 2, right? You're kind of looking at what questions is Todd Monken asking. How is it set up? And it's a different setup of practice. I wasn't even aware that you got 2 hours for OTAs because Kevin Stefanski never went near that. Todd Monken went 2 hours.
How long would Stefanski go?
Hour 90-ish, maybe 100-ish minutes. Pretty standard. Okay. So it was different. And maybe Todd creeped over 2 hours. I don't know. I'm not going to accuse anybody of anything. But it was full. And they ran a lot of plays. And there was not a competitive snap for the first hour plus of those two. So they would line up 11 on 11 and they would start. And it's different things. It's called perfect plays, to where they kill it after 1 second. So they want to look, is everybody lined up right? Is it off to a good start? Is everybody blocking the right guy, rather than go all the way through? So what you saw was Deshaun with the ones, and almost all the starters, Shedeur at the other end with the twos, and almost all of the rookies. So my first observation is Spencer Fano is not the starting left tackle. He's going to be, but why isn't he in the OTAs? Austin Barber, the third-round guy, was at right tackle with the twos. He's a monster. McNeil Warren looks the part. KT Leviston, who played a lot of tackle last year, which was part of the disaster, has been moved inside to guard. Gives him a chance to make the team. So you're just kind of looking. It's a ton of plays. There's a ton of motion in these plays, which isn't going to be a Casey Concepcion thing. I think it's going to be a Harold Fannin thing in trying to create matchups and create space for those guys. But the most notable thing is that Quinshon Judkins was darn near a full practice participant. And I didn't expect to see that till training camp. And he looks good. So if you look real close, his one leg is still bigger than the other, and they have been resting him a little bit. I don't think he's doing that every day. But first screen pass, Quinshon Judkins. First 2 carries, Quinshon Judkins. Like, this is a guy that's arguably the most important non-quarterback, non-Myles Garrett player if the Browns are going to win some games in 2026.
You also mentioned Elgin Jenkins when we were talking before as a guy who was back in a role that we may not have expected this early. I know they're not really pads. It's not really a good evaluation for offensive linemen in particular, but how was he moving around yesterday?
Yeah, I mean, he looks good. Now, he's wearing a big wrap on his leg, and Judkins isn't.
Okay.
What does that mean? I don't know, but it's what you notice from the sideline when you get your OTA view. So he has not played much center. His Pro Bowl seasons were at left guard. He's played tackle in a pinch. But for right now, this team is making him the center. And he did it last year, played fairly well, thought it was his best path to making more money. His season got ended by injury. So this is a good player and an important player. You would love to see your center out there building chemistry with the guy who you know is going to be the quarterback. That's one reason that clues lean certainly one way at this point. But yeah, when you're just looking at how they practice, who's out there, you see Jenkins and Judkins out there, well, you're a much better team with those guys, obviously, than you are without them.
So for the record, just go through who was the starting line.
So it's going to be Fano at left tackle, but right now it's DeJuan Jones.
Okay.
And then it's Zion Johnson, left guard. He has played all over the place, but his last 3 seasons and best seasons with the Chargers, almost called him San Diego and turned into my dad, were at left guard. So Jenkins now is at center. At right guard, it's going to be Tevin Jenkins for right now. And then Tytus Howard was not there yesterday, so it's Tyree Phillips, who's kind of a journeyman. But Tytus Howard has told us, I'm best at right tackle, and I came here to play right tackle. So that means DeJuan Jones versus Austin Barber for number backup tackle. That means could potentially Barber play guard. Could the rookie end up pushing for center, and Elgton Jenkins could move to guard. And then where does Leviston fit? Can he make this team?
How did some of the other rookies look? I know we saw Denzel Boston had the big touchdown catch. Casey Concepcion showed some explosiveness in a whatever way you could show explosiveness in this kind of setting. You mentioned Barber being a massive human. Fano, all those guys, what did you take away from?
Well, they all looked the part, which is most important at this point, except for Brailsford, and we know he's a smaller center. They like his skill set. I would say based off 2 viewings, far and away the most impressive rookie is Denzel Boston. He moves well. He had the big catch on the play of the day, and you just watch him. You notice him because he's a legit 6'4". And he's running really well. It's one play, it's OTAs, but he smoked Tyson Campbell on a double move, and then he finished the play. So, like, when you just watch the receivers warm up, of course you notice the tallest one. He moves pretty well. It's May, but if you're looking for one guy on offense other than Judkins to get excited about, so far, it's Denzel Boston.
The fact that he was able to burn Tyson Campbell on that particular play, and like I said, we'll talk quarterbacks in the next segment when we do this, so we don't have to talk about the throw or anything, but Tyson Campbell had a really strong end to the last season. Like, that trade for Greg Newsome for Tyson Campbell, at the time, well, if he could stay healthy, it's a good... Tyson Campbell was a really good NFL cornerback last season and shut down some preeminent NFL receivers.
Yeah.
The fact that Boston, and it's just one rep, I'm not making too much of it, was able to get off the line, beat him, because it looked like press coverage from the little clip I saw, get down the sideline. This Browns offense has lacked explosive plays since we've been doing UCSS. We've been begging for more explosive plays, and hopefully that is a precursor for what we see a lot more of come this fall.
I agree, Mike. To me, I understand everybody being caught up in what's now in the competition and who, but in the bigger picture, like if they have some more rookie hits, then the whole temperature is different next offseason as it was the last few months. So if Denzel Boston's one of those, now you're like, okay. I mean, Concepcion can play. He's really fast.
Yeah.
He's got to add some polish to his game. How are they going to use him? What's he ready for? We'll see all those things. But if Boston is your outside receiver, you drafted him in the second round, and this is a guy that can make plays for you for years to come, that's an important box you can check.
With Fano, are they just making him earn it?
Yeah, I think so.
And then who's on the bubble on the line? It sounds like Whippler's on the bubble.
Whippler, DeWand,
yeah,
and Leviston, for sure. And they added some guys last year.
Is Zinner gone real quick? Are you just assuming Zinner's out of it?
Yeah, he's done nothing to show me he's in the plans. He's playing left guard with the twos, and that's where he's been. But guess what? They spent $30 million on a left guard.
Yeah,
Good point. No, fair.
And they're moving Leviston inside. So yeah, I mean that's kind of the reality is it's him versus Leviston for the 9th, 10th offensive line spot. So what happens at center, because Zinter could be your emergency center, and when you ultimately are keeping 9 or 10 guys, you have to declare who your emergency center is. But yeah, that's something to watch all summer. It makes sense for Leviston to move inside. He's a guy they got for nothing, a 2028 7th round pick. When he had to play, it was a disaster. But he kind of has the body type for guard.
You mentioned Quinshon earlier and the fact that he was back. Can you tell explosiveness in a situation like this? Like, is it possible without pads where you're not worried about getting hit? Obviously, he's healthy enough to be out there, but did he look as explosive? Did he look like the old Quinshon?
Yeah, I think he looked like himself. So that's what I can say. So we're talking about a guy that's probably not ready to rip it, but we saw the explosiveness last year and the athleticism, and we saw all this with a guy that missed all of training camp too. So you're looking for gradual improvements, and obviously he needs to stay healthy and fit this offense. But like, this is the only real running back on this team, and this is a guy that in a bad offense with no training camp showed real signs. So to me, it's not is Quinshon going to be okay? Obviously, that's for him and his doctors to answer. But it's good versus great with this guy going forward, and great is in play.
It sounds like the defense won the day. Sure. Is that fair? And what the defense look like?
Yeah, the defense won the day, and that's what happens early. Because not only is the defense ahead because it's easier, but like when you get into the 3rd, 4th, 5th OTA and they had minicamp, the defense has seen the plays. They're drilling the same 6 for 10 plays over, and that's why they beat Campbell with a double move, because there wasn't not another completion more than 6 yards down the field except that one. I'll tell you that. So yeah, but look, the defense is good. Now Denzel's not there, Delpit's not there. Miles Garrett isn't there. Alex Wright wasn't practicing. So you're getting reps for guys, but you have Quincy Williams, who's brought in to be a leadership type role. And McNeil Warren's not playing with the ones now, but he's going to be out there. So you're just trying to get reps for those guys, and of course the defense is ahead at this stage of the game.
When would Fano move? Would that be training camp?
I would expect by 2 weeks from now.
2 weeks from now.
Yeah.
We were talking the other day. I don't think you were here. The fact that everybody on offense is there for OTAs. Were you here when we talked about
Yeah,
this?
we did have that discussion
never
a
mind.
little bit. No, it makes sense. Titus Howard is not there, and Harold Fannin was not practicing. He was there, but not practicing.
Is Howard going to be there?
I would imagine so. He was at minicamp. He wasn't there. He's a guy that's played a lot of football. So He's the right tackle.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, yeah.
Dewan or Barber will compete for that job, and they will get snaps along the way because Tytus Howard's 30 years old. But Tytus Howard is the right tackle. Zion Johnson is the left guard. Spencer Fano is the left tackle. And everything else, which isn't much else, is just kind of TBD. But you're banking on Jenkins and Jenkins to be healthy. And both over the course of their careers have been good when they're healthy. It's just especially with Elton Jenkins, he's coming to a new team. He's played multiple positions, and he obviously only played center for 9 or so games before he got hurt last year.
I'm proud of us. We just did 10 minutes on OTAs. Didn't dive into the quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Because we're going to do it in the next hour, so we will get 15 minutes on the quarterback battle. Zach was there. Let us know how all of Shador's, all of Deshaun's, all of Dylan, all of Taylon's throws looked from his sideline perspective. No question on Zip, from videos, from tweets, because he was there.